cherish all the time you spend, you tuned in to. It's time again to cherish all the time you spend, you tuned in to. It's the number one podcast. The topics of discussion when we broadcast. So all them artificial man jokes, we do it natural from the concrete to a public standpoint. Real, wherever you're from, life is coexisting, but to know the real, you just gotta listen. Wherever you're from, life is coexisting, but to know the real, you just gotta listen.
What up, everybody, and welcome to the 52 Scott Podcast. This is For Women Wednesday. I'm your host, Freddie G, joined by my co-host, K Money, Slash, and Comedian 96. Collectively, we are the Mind of Men. Don't forget to follow us on X, formerly known as Twitter, at 52 Scott Podcast. On Instagram and Facebook, the 52 Scott Podcast. And for all my YouTubers, don't forget to like and subscribe. And welcome to another Women Wednesday. Okay, listeners, imagine this. You've been married to the love of your life for years, and suddenly they pass away. How would that make you feel? Sad, physically sick, depressed, suicidal, angry, lonely, or all of the above?
All except suicidal.
What about you, K Money?
I say all of the above.
All of the above. All of the above.
So for K Money and Comedian 96, y'all say all of the above, and Slash, you say everything with the exception of suicidal.
Yes. I'm
Okay.
not gonna
I
kill
think the
myself.
thought of, it,
I'm not gonna kill myself.
I wouldn't kill myself, but I'm just saying the thought of harming myself probably would
I ain't
run through
gonna
my
do that
mind,
either.
but I'd never act it out.
Okay, you finna laugh. I actually didn't even hear the question. I just said something. So what was
So okay. Imagine this. You've been married to the love of your life for years. And suddenly they pass away.
Okay.
How would that make you feel?
Ooh.
Would it make you feel sad?
Sad? Yes.
Would it make you feel physically sick?
Yes.
Would it make you depressed?
Very depressed.
Would it make you suicidal?
No.
Would it make you angry?
No.
Yeah,
not in my state.
Yes,
not the way I think now, because
Okay.
I know we can't live forever.
Would it make you lonely?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
And the other one was all of the above. So you initially said all of the above.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, I want y'all to imagine this. Imagine you've been with the love of your life for years, and you've experienced the highs and lows of marriage. Throughout the years, your love and patience for each other was tested to the limits. Nevertheless, the marriage remained intact. Suddenly, your spouse dies. Now your world is turned upside down. The first day or two after your spouse's death seems unreal. However, reality begins to sit in, and you realize the love of your life ain't coming back. Now, your house no longer feels like a home, and every room in the house feels empty without your spouse's presence. Now, you're in the process of preparing for the funeral, which requires making contacts with loved ones. So you gain access to your spouse's cell phone to make contact with his or her family and friends. As you scroll through the contacts, you discover your spouse has been cheating on you for years.
Oh my God.
Now, you're totally shocked.
Oh my God.
Because when your spouse was alive, there was no sign of infidelity in the marriage. With that being said, fellas, let me ask, how would you feel if your wife passed away and in the midst of preparing for her funeral, you discovered that she was cheating on you?
I'm glad this motherfucker dead.
Yeah.
Let me hurry up and get this done, because I didn't know that this was going on. Although it may hurt,
Yeah.
but hey, the truth is the truth, and reality is this is what you was doing, and you didn't tell me, so you didn't get that much care about me to anyway. You was see, God got a place for you. God don't like ugly.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, before you say something, Comedian 96, and before you chime in, K Money, let me just throw this out there. Y'all been married for 25 years. Now, Slash, you said, I'm glad this motherfucker dead.
Yeah.
But y'all been married for 25 years.
Because you've been cheating.
For 25 years.
But ain't no telling how long
Or
you've been
24, 23.
See, cheating is still there. Even though you gone. But now, hey, it is what it is. Now, it's not going to take me so long to get over this. That's going to help my situation now.
Yeah.
Knowing that this is what you was doing and you didn't I thought everything was cool.
The angry was one of the choices that you gave us early on in regards to when this occurred.
So initially, I told you guys to imagine that the love of your life passed away. How would it make you feel? And then I went down that list. But then secondly, I say, now imagine this.
Well,
and so I changed the scenario because you guys told me how you felt without me adding the cheating into it.
Mm-hmm. I was okay.
But I
with
wanted to see if the way you felt would change if I added cheating.
I think anger would still be there. However, the anger would change. It would be a different type of anger now.
There you go. Now anger
because
will
you're
be
despising your partner.
Okay, now, initially, before I added the cheating element, I went down that list of how it would make you feel, and you said all of the above.
Right.
But you said the anger would change. The anger element would change
Right.
because you would no longer be angry because she's deceased. You would be angry because she cheated.
Well, the initial anger is because your partner is deceased, and you're angry at life, in general. But now that you found out that your partner has cheated, you're angry with your partner now, and you despise them.
Okay.
Does that make you more suicidal?
Oh no, for what? She cheating.
But
his initial deal was all of the
All of
above.
the above.
But I did say that I would have suicidal thoughts, but I would never carry them out.
Yeah.
I just feel, when one is in that mind state, they have all kinds of shit going through their head.
Right.
And suicidal may be one of the things, but as
So
far
for
as
the most part, prior to me, you gave your all of the above answer, K Money, prior to me adding the cheating
Right.
element.
Yeah.
So for you, the only thing that really changed was it added a level of the level of
Anger.
angerness
Right.
of anger kind of increased, and so but everything else kind of remained the same.
Yeah, everything's still, I'm still hurt.
Okay. Now, Comedian 96. I had, because you wasn't paying attention the first time, I had to go down this whole list. Right?
I'm sorry.
Now, I went down this whole list and you was like, yeah, no, something to that effect. So I'm going to go down this list again. Without the cheating element, Comedian 96, would you feel sad?
Sad, yes.
Would you feel physically sick?
Yes.
Would you feel depressed?
Yes.
Would you feel suicidal?
No.
Would you feel angry?
No.
Would you feel lonely?
Yes.
Okay, all of the above wouldn't apply. So
No.
out of all of those, two of those, without the cheating element added, only two of those, which is suicidal and angry, you wouldn't feel. But the others you would feel.
Correct.
You would feel sad, physically sick, depressed, and lonely. Now, add that cheating element and she passes away. How would that make you feel? Would you still feel sad?
I would still feel it would be pretty much everything except for the suicidal because the anger is now directed towards her.
Okay, so for you, initially, before
The cheating.
the cheating, you said you wouldn't be angry and you
Correct.
wouldn't be suicidal.
Correct.
But now that she's cheated, you've added anger to how you feel.
Correct.
So and suicidal stayed there, but yours was different from K Money to where you added anger to that list.
Yeah, because I'm going to tell you what I'm going to do now.
Okay.
You was going to go from a beautiful burial with flowers.
Hold it. Just hold that right there. Because,
Cremation.
Hold that right there because that's where I was going with it. That's why I was going with it. So, but I just wanted to make sure we were clear
Yeah.
without getting ahead of ourselves.
Yeah.
So, that's so with you, your emotion was overridden as far as like you added anger to your element. / you still stand pat with yours.
Yeah.
Initially, before the cheating element, you were everything but suicidal.
Everything except suicide.
But now you add the cheating element, you angry.
Because I'm done now. I
Okay,
can't
so
believe.
so you were everything but suicidal. Now the only thing you feel is anger.
Upset and
Yeah.
good thing death took her before.
Yeah. So the only thing, so for you, yours changed in such a way to where it's like, well, damn. / you were everything but suicidal.
Yeah.
Now you wipe all that
I'm
out.
pissed
and
off.
Now I'm just angry. I'm angry.
I'm pissed off.
Okay.
Because you cheated on me, and I thought we had something special. You know,
Okay, so now keep in mind you're going through this phone list that you see that she's cheated, right? Do you reach out to the person she cheated with now that you got
I'm good.
that information?
I'm good.
Nah,
What
because
about you, K-Money?
I agree.
I don't want to hear. She
I'm
died, man.
good.
I care.
Nah,
Can I
don't
come
wanna
to the
hear that
funeral?
shit.
Now I'm ready to fight.
If they was that close, then you should know somebody else that know her.
Yeah.
That can give you that
Now,
information.
Comedian 96, you touched on this and I stopped you.
Yes.
Does it change the way you make funeral preparation?
Yes, very much so. Yeah.
Yeah, I think
she
it
was gonna
does.
have beautiful flowers and roses and lilies and poppy seed fields.
Now, this was
and
a 25-year relationship.
beautiful flowers and roses and pop. Now I'm gonna watch you get cremated.
And-
I'm not. No.
So, / you're angry now.
Yeah.
Now, before you add the cheating element, she was going to get a. Would you confirm? No. Would you agree or disagree that she was going to get the normal proper funeral over cremation or whatever?
I agree she was going to get the normal funeral.
Okay, now that she's cheated, does that change?
That's not going to make me change to cremation. Now, some of how much some of the expenses are, we probably going to be a little less than
You'll
that.
scale back.
Yeah,
So
instead
the
of
funeral will be a little bit cheaper.
it's going to be a little bit cheaper. Instead of 2 cars, we're going to have 1 and a hearse. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I got it. Instead of family car, you know.
Yeah, everybody else drive your own car.
Yeah,
you know what I
get
mean?
you. I got you.
And whatever the casket costs, we're gonna start looking at a cheaper one.
So you'll scale back on the price with
Right.
more insurance money in your
box.
pocket.
That's right.
Okay.
I should get paid.
All right. K Money.
I got played already.
K Money.
Yeah.
Funeral preparation. Does it change?
Slightly, and I kind of agree with / I would downscale the expenses on how much I choose to spend on this.
Because in my
Homegoing.
honest, because I'm hurt now. I'm burying trash.
Okay.
And not someone
so
I.
all of y'all,
You know?
So for the most part, initially, let's throw a dollar amount. I'm just throwing this out there. Initially, y'all were gonna spend $20,000 on the funeral.
Yeah.
But now that the cheating element came in, now the cost of the funeral has decreased.
Scaled back.
She's still having a funeral,
Yeah.
but the cost of the funeral has decreased for / and has
$13,000.
decreased for K Money. Well, Comedian 96 is just gonna give a memorial. She's gonna have a cremation.
3,500. 3,500.
Okay, now moving on. If y'all have adult children, would you guys tell them that your mom was cheating?
No, I don't think I would.
No, that's just nah.
Because they don't need to know that side of their parents.
Yeah,
you know
I
what
don't want. I don't want to
Yeah, I wouldn't do
scar
that.
up a name or anything like that.
Okay, so you're angry. So that tells me. So I'm listening to y'all, and I listen to each one of y'all. One of the things that y'all added, that y'all had in common after the cheating, y'all all added anger.
Yeah.
The level of anger has changed, right? But y'all still have the wherewithal to keep her name in good standing
Right.
with the children. So now it'll be like, well, damn, how angry were you?
I've said enough to say.
But you still want to keep her name in good standing. You're still protecting
because
her name.
you know why? Because those are her children also, and that's probably not. They didn't know. You know, she didn't want them to know.
Right.
So
Okay.
she didn't want me to know. I just found out.
I think it's easier said than done. I mean, because let's say, the child showed up right when you initially had found out some of this bad news. You may react not thinking at that time and
Right.
say some shit you don't need to be saying and expose it then. Not intentional, though.
Right.
I say this. It's like, just say you you got married to her. Y'all married 25 years. Y'all had kids. Y'all had, let's say, 3 kids. And you bought a caravan. And you've been having that caravan for 20 years, as long as the kid's been alive. And you've been riding around with a bum in there. And in year 17, you go to the dealership. Hey, man, you know you had a bum in the back of your truck, but your kids are grown now. So why would you tell your kids? You cool now. You got the bum out. What's the purpose of telling the kids? You know, so just it's like, okay, it's over. They don't need to know there was a bomb in the car. Same thing with the wife. They don't need to know she was cheating. Don't score up the caravan.
I totally agree. They don't need to know.
Yeah.
Now, do you guys think females versus a male will react totally different?
I'm gonna get it.
Okay,
I'll get there. So, let me ask y'all this. I know y'all angry, but would you visit the gravesite?
Yeah.
I had ashes, so I.
Okay, so in your case, I'm gonna come to you, Lash.
Yeah.
So Slash, would you visit the gravesite? Let's say 2 years pass after she's buried.
You know,
Would you
after
visit?
knowing and I'm hurt behind the cheating, I think I'm okay with, let bygones be bygones and let laying dogs lay. And I'm just not gonna go to visit her because what for?
If I did bury her, because I know she's ashes.
We're not going there with you.
I'm just saying,
I saved you. I told you.
Okay.
K Money, would you visit the gravesite?
Yeah, I'm sure I would, man. In time, like I said, this is 25-year relationship, so there's still memories that I'm gonna have that once I got over the cheating aspect.
Yeah.
I'm gonna start thinking about some of the memories that we made, so I'm sure I would go visit it.
Okay.
Along with the child.
Now, Comedian 96, you don't get an opportunity to participate in the visiting of the gravesite. You don't get that opportunity because you cremated your woman.
She in the attic.
So you'll keep her in the attic?
Yeah, she's not gonna be on the mantle in the
attic.
Yeah, in the attic.
Okay. So you wouldn't spread ashes nowhere? No, you keep her in the attic.
Yeah. Probably so more.
So now let's say you had to move. Would you take her with you?
Yeah, I mean,
so she'll go everywhere. She'll go everywhere you go.
Everywhere I go, but in the attic.
So why are you keeping the ashes?
I don't know. Now that I'm thinking about it, y'all, because I thought, I'm angry. Remember, we added anger.
Anger was always
no. I added it.
Yeah,
once I found
you
out
added it.
I added it once I found out she was cheating.
Yeah.
Now that I'm coming to my senses, and that's normally what you do after anger goes away, right. I would feel bad that I cremated her. So I would probably opt. Well, it'll be too late. But now I'm glad you had this conversation because if it does, I pray to God it doesn't happen whenever I get married. But I would probably do the cheaper route on the funeral.
So
wooden box.
So now that you've had this conversation,
yeah,
and you had an opportunity to think about it, you change your stance. You would bury her instead of cremate.
Yeah, it'd be a very inexpensive funeral.
Okay,
I'd say about $6,000.
Now you get an opportunity to participate in the gravesite. Would you visit the gravesite?
If I'm in the area, I ain't gonna even lie.
So you're not gonna make a special trip Mother's Day?
Nope.
Okay.
Nope. If I'm in the area, you know what? I'm over here. Let me go.
Okay.
Because she cheated.
Now, K Money,
yes, sir.
You almost touched on this, and I told you, hold up for a second. I got it. So, what gender do y'all believe would be able to get over it quicker? Now, Slash, I think you
immediately, bro. And I don't know if it's because I'm a Taurus, but we big on loyalty.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
That is a big thing to me.
So, step outside of yourself for a second. Slash, the male gender as a whole versus the female gender as a whole. Which gender would be able to get over that kind of scenario faster?
I say women would, man. I really, truly believe women would. The only reason I say that is because, guys are guys. We're going to be guys now. Yeah. But you got some guys that are really not as what women think, dogs. You know what I mean? Some you got a lot of guys that's when they have one woman, they have one woman. That's what it is, and it might take them longer to get with somebody else after a death of somebody that they truly felt, had feelings for, as opposed to a woman. Once the guy dies, it's somebody already talking about, hey, shit, you want to go out? I know your man dead, but I just want to console you. You know what I mean? So I think women will get over it much sooner than guys will.
You probably.
I agree. I agree with Slash. I think women would get over it a lot sooner. One, I think once they find out, of the cheating or whatnot, it may not catch them up. They won't be too surprised at it. So it'll be easy for them to get over it, in my opinion.
All right. You should probably broke this up into 2 parts, and I'm going to explain why. When it came to the women. Let me explain.
Okay, go ahead.
All right.
I made.
Yeah, all right. So if she went to your phone and she found out you was just cheating with some random chicks just hitting, she'll get over faster. However,
and you got to keep in mind, death too is involved in
right.
this.
If she found
Don't just focus on the cheating. The death is involved in this too.
I get it.
Okay.
But if it's one woman and it's long term, a woman, the first thing, did you love her more than you love me? You're not here to answer that no more because you're gone. There's a lot of things that's gonna come into play. So it kind of depends on if you was just a hoe or if you had a whole other outside family and she don't know.
Okay, you know what? I do agree with that, and I plan on touching on that a little bit as we get ready to close here. So now, if your spouse was alive and you discovered that she was cheating, to get past that emotional trauma of infidelity, you would have 3 options you can choose from. Number 1, you can go to marriage counseling to try to work it out. Number 2, you can get a divorce. And number 3, you can 86 her. And we all know what 86 means, right? Now, in this case, your spouse is deceased. So what do you do to get past the emotional trauma of infidelity? What do you do?
Pray.
Yeah, that, of course, prayer is the biggest. But any of her belongings or anything she had, clothes, dresses, shoes, purses, whatever, you get rid of that stuff.
Yeah, that's smart. Anything that will remind you of that
her.
person.
Get rid of it and don't hold it. Don't look at it and think about what she used to look like with it on. None of that. You know what I mean? Just get rid of it and continue to live your life, I think that's what I would do.
Okay.
What if the child looked like him?
After 10 or 15 years, you get over it, But if the child look like him, then that's going to, every time you look at this child, you see that person. So it's going to affect you.
I would pray and try to stay busy. I don't really think I would ever get over it, to be honest with you, but I would just have to stay busy and keep myself occupied with something.
Okay. So, first of all, in a relationship, healing by yourself is more difficult than healing with your spouse. Let me elaborate. When a couple heals together, the spouse who is betrayed gets the opportunity to question the person who betrayed them. In other words, he or she gets to confront their mate about cheating. And their mate gets an opportunity to explain themselves. However, if one spouse is deceased, the betrayed spouse is left with unanswered questions. And Comedian 96, you alluded to that, right? Now, again, in this case, one spouse is deceased. So I believe that the spouse who was betrayed needs to do 2 separate things that may be very difficult to do. Number 1, the betrayed spouse needs to grieve the death. And number 2, the betrayed spouse needs to heal from the affair. Now, fellas, in this scenario like this, do y'all believe a person can separate their emotions regarding death and their emotions regarding the affair? Do y'all believe they can separate the two?
I think that's a fight between I think that's a mental fight amongst that individual, because one side gonna be like, I cared so much, and then the other side gonna be like, but damn, look how you did me. You know what I mean? That's a
50-50.
that's the emotional fight, man.
So we get it, and I'm in agreement. But do you believe that a person can do it?
You ain't gonna have no choice.
Depending, okay.
Some people can't do it, and they just put a bullet in their head.
Yeah.
That's,
So that's what I'm saying. Do you believe that? So you got the death aspect of it, and you got the affair aspect of it.
So you got clouds, dark clouds, and fog all together. You got to clear. It's got to become clear. You got to clear your mind in order to do it.
Yeah,
so
it's a mental battle, man.
It's a mental. It may take a while, but it can be done. Like I said, with prayer, it can be done.
It can be done.
I think
swear.
what Comedian 96 said earlier in regards to the type of affair, or if it was a long distance type, not long distance, but if it was a one woman type of deal, I think your mind would be playing tricks on you. So it definitely would be hard. But I think if the person was a hoe versus being in a steady relationship with the one person, I think that would factor in. You understand what I'm trying to say?
Okay, I do. I do understand what you're saying, but I want to make sure we're clear. You're saying that a person can or cannot separate the fact that, okay, I got to grieve from this death and heal from this affair.
All at the same time.
Can it be done? And you're saying that depending on if it was multiple partners.
Yeah, I think if it was multiple partners, they would definitely be able to separate it.
Yeah.
If it was multiple partners.
Yeah, because it's no caring. If you got multiple, you just
right. They know that their partner didn't love the person. That
he just be sleeping around. Oh, a man just gonna be a man.
Yeah.
That's what.
No, we're talking about your woman. Your woman dead.
Okay, well, I'm.
Yeah.
I thought you was talking about.
We've been talking about women.
No, but
your woman
thought
dead.
you was still talking about the. Okay,
No, we're talking about your woman.
I'm put the show on the other foot. Like you say, yeah. If she was just out there fucking a whole bunch of motherfuckers, then it'll be easy for me to.
Now either way, you lost me with
now
one.
Her, she can't do neither.
Yeah, you lose me with one. And if you was being a hoe, you know what I'm saying?
You can't do neither.
If she was being a hoe, and then it should have been some others. It should have been some
You should have
compensation.
married me. Yeah.
No, it should have been compensation, because guess what? We could have got paid together doing this.
Oh my! This pimp.
If you want to be a hoe,
okay.
you feel what I'm saying? But I think it's gonna be difficult to separate the feeling, all at the same time, because you're dealing with this and you're dealing with that, man. But I mean, at the end, you got to be strong.
That's a good ass question, man.
You know what I'm saying? You got to be strong, number one. And you got to give yourself space from everybody and everything so you can think this through in your right mind. Don't go to getting drunk. Don't go to getting high and tripping. Just sit down and think to yourself and keep a level head while you're going through this. It may take months, you know what I'm saying? But, hey, man, you got to do it if you don't want to crash out.
Yeah, don't hang with that friend that want to ride on. Let's go ride on. No.
Don't crash out is all I can say. Don't crash out.
So, in regards to death, again, I believe that death requires grieving. And I believe that an affair requires healing. Two different things. In regards to death, I don't believe a person can heal from losing a loved one. I believe you can learn how to live with the loss by grieving. Now, how do you grieve a death? You can grieve by journaling. You can grieve by putting a memorial together for yourself to remind you things. You can grieve by reminiscing on with pictures and stuff like that. I don't think that you could heal from a death, but you can learn to live with the fact that my loved one is gone. Now, in regards to healing from an affair, I believe in order to heal, you have to forgive. Forgiveness is not for you. I'm sorry. The forgiveness is for you. It's not for the person who wronged you. So I believe that you can heal from the affair by just forgiveness, if that even makes sense. With the death, you grieve. With the healing of the affair, you forgive. If you can do both of those, then you can get past it. Now, with that being said, man, in closing, I want to leave y'all with two things. Number one, death is certain. And number two, many people die with secrets. This concludes another dope episode. Tune in tomorrow for Think Thursday. Don't forget to follow us on X, formerly known as Twitter, at 52 Scott Podcast, on Instagram and Facebook, the 52 Scott Podcast. And for all my YouTubers, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. Remember, the only way we grow is if you let them know.